Hello, all you thoughtfully made people out there. It's Courtney Morrison with Made Architecture and Design, back with another week in review. So last weekend, we had a family day on Saturday, church on Sunday, and family yard work day Sunday afternoon, getting some stuff done around the house. And then on Monday, we got back to Marketing Mondays. My wife and I working to complete this course, review this course, go through the rest of the lessons. I think we've completed 90% of it at this point, but now it's kind of backtracking, figuring out what we got to do, what we need to integrate, things like that. And so that was Monday. We took the car for some maintenance drop off and pickup. That took a little bit of time out of the day. And then I started working with Perplexity, which is a AI LLM, I think they call them. And it's, I guess, a competitor to ChatGPT, or, a peer, I guess. I'm not sure. But I've had this idea for a while to be able to essentially take the emotion out of building fees. And so I was working with Perplexity to help develop a kind of question and answer system that would help give me fee ranges for various projects and things like that. So started working on that. I'm pretty excited about that. I haven't fully implemented it yet, but I'm going to keep working on it, keep testing it, and we'll see where it goes from there. And then did some invoicing for January, so that was good. Always nice to get that done and out of the way. On Tuesday, I went and met some former clients of mine who I've done work for. They live next door to her parents and are looking to do a pretty significant renovation to promote aging in place. And so I went and talked to them about what they need to do and things like that. So next week, I'm going to go and measure and do some drawings for them. So always happy to get called back by previous clients, and happy to serve folks who are looking to, be able to age in place. It's a fun challenge, and I enjoy doing that. And then I did some work for the grocery store as-built, project that I have, or prospective project that I have. We need to get as-builts done. Got some proposals from some as-built companies who would do 3D scanning and things like that, and trying to just sort through what the client needs, what's the best, best approach for them. And then I marked up the plans for the house that I'm working on down in Sandy Springs. And so I'm working with another architect on that who's helping me, and we have a decorator on board and a general contractor on board, and we were getting ready for a meeting on Wednesday. So on Wednesday morning, we had a Teams call with the husband and wife, the owners, the decorator, and the general contractor, and walked through the drawings, got some great feedback, had some great conversations, and it was very productive, and we're making changes to the drawings going forward. And then I had a call with a general contractor here in town who builds modern work. I had reached out to him basically as a cold call, just saying, hey, I'm an architect in Marietta, and I would love to talk to you about what you do, who you are. And so it took us a bit to connect, but finally we got to connect and talk for about 45 minutes, and really liked what he had to say. Like I said, I've seen some of his work on the Modern Atlanta Home Tour, and it's really nice. So happy to make that connection. And then I went and met another architect who lives not too far from me. He and I had exchanged some messages on Instagram, and we went and met and had a beer, and that was great. He's a great guy. We know, we're in the same industry. He's been here a while, and so we know some of the same people and things like that. So it was really, really nice to connect with him, and I really enjoyed that time. And then on Thursday, on Thursday I had the meeting with the clients for the big remodel that I'm doing. I said that was on Wednesday, but we were continuing to revise drawings then. So the meeting was on Thursday, and the meeting went really well. Then on Friday, I had a conversation with the client about like an hourly fee versus a lump sum fee. They're doing hourly, and we're having questions, how much is it going to be and things like that. And so one of the things I've touched on in a previous video, but I wanted to talk about again is, when you're thinking about architectural fees, the question is, who has the risk? And so if I'm giving you a lump sum fee, I have the risk. But if we're taking on an hourly fee, you have the risk as the client. And so, it's just two different models, and not one is not right or wrong or better. I understand from an owner's perspective the necessity to have a finite number, which is nice. But, when we're unable to define a scope, or the scope is disparate across a big house, doing this, that, and the other, adding here, taking away there, it's really hard to put a lump sum to that. And so hourly may make more sense from a risk mitigation standpoint and things like that. So this is something I wanted to touch on again, just from a fee structure. If you are a client talking to architects, and you're seeing lump sum or hourly or both, that's something that you could have in the back of your mind, is who has the risk. And then this morning I went and walked a job site with a client and his contractor to do a little pre-con meeting, talk through some of the specifics of the drawings and any questions he had. The contractor got to explain his access. They're building out an attic, and so he got to talk about how they were going to kind of stage the job and access the job. So that was good. I think we cleared up some things with the owner and the general contractor, answered some questions about the drawings. One thing I recommended to them, and I recommend to all my owners, is, when you're building a house like this, despite my best efforts and our communication and maybe an interior designer's best efforts, we draw on the plans, lighting, switching, all of these sorts of things. But what I recommend to them is to do a box walk, and that is to walk through with the general contractor, maybe with the interior designer, perhaps with the architect, and go through and talk about the lighting arrangement in every room, and where you want the switch to be, where you want outlets on the walls, where you want lights in the ceiling, those sorts of things, and how you want them all switched. And so that's a critical step and a critical component. Yes, it can take a long time, but I think it's very important to getting things done, because or things done how you expect, because the worst thing is to show up at your job and there be a box where you don't want it, or a light where you don't want it. And so it saves time to go through and do that ultimately. And then had an internal coordination call for the remodel that we're working on. And then I had a friend of mine who I talked to last week, who's a videographer, talk to me about my setup here in the studio. You maybe can tell it's a little bit different. The camera angle is a little bit different. We've got some lighting over here. So he really helped me a lot, kind of refine my setup here. So I'm really excited about that. We'll continue to kind of grow it and change it and evolve it as, this takes on maybe a life of its own. So that's all I've got for this week. If you have any questions about who we are, what we do, how we do it, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to interact with you guys there, or on a video in a future week in review. So that's all I've got for this week. In the meantime, y'all be particular, and I look forward to talking to you next time.